Good to see you all here. Find your seat. We made it. Woo! That was fun, no? Good to see you all here. I know some folks are catching planes and cars and et cetera and heading out, but it's really good to see so many people still around. So I'm excited to spend this last hour of what was a really beautiful 3 days together. As you all know, Imagining America was founded about 25 years ago, actually by a collection of university presidents and provosts and some faculty and deans who believed that universities could do a much, much better job of building relationships with their surrounding communities and engaging together with community-based partners to solve local, global, national issues. They also deeply believed not the disciplines, but the modalities of telling stories, of using our imagination, engaging in creative work together, played a really, really special role in doing that university community work and that regional organizing work. So as I started my role as faculty director of Imagining America at UC Davis in 2017, I actually did a lot of listening across the network and many, many interviews and listened and talked to folks at the gathering. And I actually found that at that time, when Imagining America was, a bit younger, but not so much, that the people who really believe in Imagining America and come back again and again for more are actually students, undergraduate students, graduate students, a huge number of graduate students, faculty, assistant professors trying to find their way, and sometimes institutions that are hostile to their work, to center directors trying to do work in their regions, and not so much the campus leaders. So in other words, we are Imagining America. So it's super exciting to see that. Another thing that we did those early days at UC Davis is we engaged in a collaborative strategic planning process. And one thing that came from that collaborative process was a set of 7 values. You could read them on our website, articulated as we believe statements. One of the values that I'm going to read to you that we felt was so important, and these were not brand new values that came up for us, but we were trying to look at what's at the heart and soul of Imagining America. What holds us together? What makes these times when we're engaging at the gathering or in workshops or in fellowship programs so meaningful, so deep, and so lasting? And so these were values that we felt represented IA and that will guide us as a North Star into the future. And one of them reads this way: how we work together matters. We believe in the capacity of every human being to learn, grow, create, and lead change. Work that is driven by curiosity, care, openness, and belief in everyone's intellectual, creative, and leadership capacity holds the key to building individual and collective agency and power. And you can recognize and feel that in IA spaces. Everyone is welcomed together as equals. We also know that even equity and justice focused organizations don't always treat people well on their teams, in their organizations, out in the field, right? So we felt this how we work together matters and is central to the life and health of Imagining America. So given that value, one thing that just continued to bother me over the last 8 years is we have this thing called the President's Forum. And it was a private luncheon at our national gathering where our member campuses would gather their presidents together to have private peer-to-peer conversations. We'd get a fancy luncheon, would get a gift, and would talk about the pressing issues on our campus. And I just always felt it was a little weird and cloistered off from the rest of the gathering and didn't feel like it actually represented those values we hold so dear. So our then chairs of this President's Forum were Nancy Cantor, who's now president of Hunter College, and Brian Murphy, who then was president of the De Anza Foothill Community College system. And they agreed with me. They said it out loud first. I wasn't going to tell 2 university presidents when I started my sentiments. And they said, yeah, it's been a bit of bullshit, actually. It's just a bunch of people bragging to each other and showing off their work on their campuses. What I think you need to do is you need IA to lead it, and you need to speak up to the campus presidents and provosts and deans through what Imagining America cares about and is doing. So we did that for a little while, and we hosted them on our own, and we shared our own research with them, our own advocacy, our own programs, our own issues. But at the same time, it was still private. So this year is the inaugural year that we're testing something a little experimental and very short, and I don't want to take up too much more time because we have precious time left. But we thought about, what about a public leadership forum to everyone at the gathering, where we bring together a collection of Imagining America leaders, a distributed, robust set of Imagining America leaders to share a final reflection at the gathering. Now, those leaders, if we live up to our values, include you all. So we're going to have open mic at the end of this leadership forum, and we'll hopefully have about 10 minutes for it, where you all will think about and answer the question, what do you bring home with you from this national gathering that will help you think about how you provide passage for others in your classrooms, in your communities, in your organizing spaces, in your art spaces, in your own leadership work, wherever you are. And so think on that. And we will invite you all to the stage for, I don't know, a whole gathering, what's left of us, curtain call, I don't know, together at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to get started and introduce the first group of Imagining America leaders who are going to share with us today. That is the clearing. Yay, stand up if you're clearing presenters. As you recall, the clearing was created by some National Advisory Board members of Imagining America. So I'm very pleased to introduce David King, who's Director of Education at the Apollo Theater, and also the board chair of the NYC Arts and Education Roundtable and Imagining America National Advisory Board member. And many of you know Anuj Vaidra, who is our IA Communications Director. And we also will be joined by Sylvia Gale, who's also a National Advisory Board member and a member of the fantastic clearing team and Executive Director of the Bonner Center for Civic Engagement at the University of Richmond. Take it away.
Okay, I am here with
Sophia.
And I'm asking Sophia, what carries you?
So my answer to what carries me has a lot to do with where I'm from. I am actually from Ciudad Juárez, El Paso. I've been away from the border for most of like my adult life for grad school and everything. But the main thing that carries me at this point is anger and spite. I think people usually associate these with like negative emotions, but I think anger is very motivational for me. I think it's important to feel anger, especially in turbulent times, because it provides much needed clarity for what we need to do and how we need to gather, how we need to work together.
Thank you so much.
So what carries me might be atypical to other responses of Imagining America attendees. What has carried me are issues of injustice that push me forward, that motivate me to move forward, to engage in action for change and community empowerment. So the chip on my shoulder that I've always had as a young person growing up in the barrio at the borderlands has always carried me forward to push, to demand, to exigir justicia, demand justice. So as a criminologist, as a feminist, as a fronteriza, I'm inspired and motivated by all the people around me and all the injustices on both sides of the border. What carries me is to move forward and to open, to build bridges, to demolish borders and border walls as best as I can. And I've been thinking about this, that my plan for the IA and our bus detour is to think about providing passage, looking beyond the border wall, over the border wall, underneath the border wall, and through the border wall, to engage with, to touch people's hearts and minds and souls, to think about what it is to move forward, to allow ourselves to be moved by injustices, and to carry people along with us in that journey.
That was, take that. Thank you. That was Cynthia Bejarano. Thank you for that lovely inspirational message to us. And for those of you, some of you might be joining the bus tour after. You will get to experience more of that. And the other person who was on there, I guess, introduced themselves.
Sophia.
Sophia. Thank you both. And thanks to all of you who participated in the clearing activities this weekend. It was such a joy to be able to have conversations with you and to think about these questions. What carries you? What is your place of peace? How do you get there? And the last one was, what practices help you imagine? We would invite you now to maybe pull out your own phones, because we have about 40 messages or so that we recorded through the gathering, and that is the URL. And we'd love to have a cacophony of voices in the space, huddle with people around you, and listen to some of the messages that other gathering attendees have left for us, inspired by these questions. And so let's pull out our phones. We often say put down our phones, but here you have full opportunity, full permission. Pull out your phones, and the URL is padlet.com/ANUVA/magical questions, and pick all, and just play them out loud as a cacophony. We'll just play them simultaneously so we can have all our voices in the space together. And as we're doing that, I'm going to pass it off to David.
Yeah, so take your time getting on Padlet. And as Anush said, we definitely want to fill this space. So feel free to start playing as I'm speaking. But just so you know, also be aware, like I said the other day, watch out for your eyes, because some of you have been calling me the airplane man. Now, I've never thrown a paper airplane like that in my life. I've wanted to, and that was the only time. But we're going to gently toss some planes from the side and from the stage. And all we ask you to do is, if it comes your way, receive it, open it up, look at some of the answers on there, and then toss it to another group. You know, have some fun. Let's really engage with play here. We've done all the pondering and the everything else, hair pulling. So let's have some fun. So yes, play it. Find some people around you, share it with them. Think of it yourself, and here we go.
But also reading stories to my grandchildren. I do it every day. And so it is communicating through the arts and through those kinds of practices is really.
Hi, this is David, and I'm standing here with
Nandini.
Nandini. Where is your place of peace, and how do you get there?
My place of peace is anywhere outside. It's under the sun, it's on a mountain. The beaches and the ocean and the mountains make me feel the most at peace, but also under a tree, in a park, anywhere where I can feel the sunlight, where I can hear birds or people talking, where there's noise, and I can't filter whatever noise is coming into my ears. It's just coming into my ears, sitting on the ground, touching grass, under the moon. I love, like, under the stars and under the moon, anything that pushes me outside and brings me in the middle of people, where I can exist and not exist and be and not be at the same time. I think that's my. It's before my session. So you can 30 minutes. My thoughts.
So at the end there, each to take it back.
And then we conducted that. But before I do anything important, it's so important for me to just look at the sun or look at the moon, you know, and be as still as I can under all of that.
PhD ethnomusicologists in Tucson, Arizona. So you asked me what practices I used to imagine. We just came out of the lightning session and someone asked us to close our eyes and imagine connecting or encountering someone and then thinking about a word. And the word that came to my mind was connect. And I spent a lot of time thinking over the last half an hour about how my process of imagining, I don't do it alone. Like I have to imagine with other people. And I think that that's been a realization that I've come to, that in building my own new worlds in Tucson, where I've only been for 5 years.
This is really wonderful.
Process going, I had to be with other people. And so I thought about this word connect and connection and being connected.
Hi.
Oh,
This is great.
Wow. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. I am Sylvia Gale. Thank you for that play and that madness and chaos. I'm going to invite us into a calm reflection. So for those of you for whom that was overstimulating, here's your moment. Here's your moment. I want to reflect back. I've been asked, really honored to be asked to reflect back to other parts of the clearing. One was strengthening our web of relations, which you may have participated in the registration area. And the other is practicing the world we want. So here we are watching the web of relationships. The purpose of this space was to make our interconnectedness visible. We asked you what people, what ideas, what places, what actions brought you here to this gathering? Who sustains you in this network? What's emerging in your intersections? And it's a beautiful web that was born. But we also know it's absolutely unfinished. And that's, of course, the connections between us are never done. They're always opening. New ones are emerging. So I'm going to invite you to, is this one working? Okay. So this part, I am grateful to fellow board member Lizzie Cooper Davis for helping imagine this way to extend the web here with you. So I'm going to invite you to, you can either sit or stand, either way. We're all going to pick up our imaginary ball of yarn. It can be any color. So just pick that up. Okay, and you've got that in your hand. And now you're looking around the room. Find someone whose talk you went to, whose comment blew you away, whose vibe you've just been really appreciating, but you haven't had a chance to say these things. Just find that person and toss them your ball of yarn. The beautiful thing about imaginary balls of yarn is they are limitless. There is no yarn. So they may not catch it. That's okay. Just find them, try to find their eyes, and toss them your ball of yarn. And I'm playing too. I got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. So take those balls of yarn with you. We won't stop connecting and finding those intersections. Thank you. I'm going to offer one final invitation to take in something that was created together out of our wisdom, our collective wisdom and experience. And this is practicing the world we want. So this was the messy makerspace. The invitation in this part of the clearing was very simple. We start by acknowledging that we are already making the world that we stand for, the worlds that we stand for. We all have the tools. We've known how to do this since we were kids. And so in this makerspace, we invited you to gather with your people or alone, roll up your sleeves, take those glue sticks, and share a glimpse into what you are imagining and practicing. And we asked the questions, how are we already building a more just, caring, and liberatory future? What does this world look, feel, sound like? And these are images of the exhibits that were created. And I'm just going to let them play while I share some excerpts from the descriptions people offered, so you can hear some of the deep knowledge and experience that we brought here together. Each day, as we drink our water, tell it, thank you, I love you. We are all connected by our humanity and the water within us. Our blood is the same color. This piece represents that unification despite our difference. The closeness of the different elements represents my yearning for preventing violence, keeping blood in the body where it belongs. What if we valued the trees as much as our own breath? I can't believe it got to this point and that we are here, but at least we are here with each other. Laughter prevents burning. We are blooming, all together, despite our petal cultures and colors. We are thriving together. Things we need more of: music, creative spaces, love, trust, facilitative wisdom, clear communication, patience, observing our surroundings, safety in us. Thank you to the makers. Thank you to the receivers of this reflection.
Wow, that's leadership. Thank you to the clearing. So beautiful. I didn't know you were a performer, Sylvia. That was beautiful. It is really my honor to introduce the next Imagining America leader, which is Paul Schadewald, who is the chair of the National Advisory Board and a really consistent, thoughtful, and caring leader that's been my honor to work with over the last few years. Paul.
It's really my honor to be able to stand here as the board chair for Imagining America. Are you gonna lift it up? Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks so much. And to just start with a word of gratitude. And the word of gratitude is, first of all, to all of you. We know it's not difficult to gather together at this moment. Budgets are being cut. People had to travel near and far. So really the people in this room, the people in this room that have gathered together, and the people who couldn't come. Really, we are all imagining America. So my gratitude to you, and my gratitude extends beyond this room to those who are with us in spirit, even if they couldn't be here in body. And my gratitude also extends to the IAA staff, including, fixing the microphone, but none of this would be possible, none of this, without the terrific, terrific work, some of it seen, some of it unseen, of the IA staff, who really had to pivot at that last moment when we couldn't go to the last location and came here to New Mexico State. So why don't we just give the IA staff just a huge round of applause? And then the next word of gratitude is really to New Mexico State University. When we really needed someone to welcome us in, when we really needed an institution that would say, you can come to us and you don't need to sacrifice who you are, what you stand for, the way we work together, as Erica described, New Mexico State was there for us. New Mexico has been there for us solidly in all the vibrant ways possible. And so I want to put out a word. I know the president of New Mexico State, Val, is here, but also the people who everywhere we went at New Mexico State were there with welcome to us, open arms. What can we do? How can we work? How can we be in relationship with you? And to the vibrant partners that were built through years and years and years of goodwill of the partners in the wider community that were also just part of this. So please, like, a round of applause to our friends at New Mexico State. So I also have just the real privilege just to take a few moments and just to kind of step back together and reflect a little bit about both the national gathering that is, and also the fact that this is the 25th anniversary of Imagining America. And next year, when we gather together, we'll have another opportunity to do like some more thoughtful reflection. That will be the last year at Imagining America's current host institution. And so we'll give a nice pause to really think about where Imagining America has been and where it's going in the future. So I just want to offer just a few reflections for now. Over the past few days, an eclectic mix of wonderful public scholars, designers, students, and artists have gathered here in New Mexico for the national gathering. I find Imagining America's gatherings to be joyful, inspiring, challenging occasions to share engaged practices, arts, and research. But they're also places to build community across lines that can divide campus from context, learners from teachers, and disciplines from one another. One of my favorite aspects of each gathering is a deep engagement with the complexities of place in the host location, the tangled histories, the unfinished stories, and the social, cultural, and physical spaces that shape identity. We have been welcomed to this gathering, guided through our experiences by those with local knowledge, the host institution, and their partners in cultural and creative work. After each gathering, I return home with a profound appreciation for connections and collaborations near and distant. I'm personally hopeful that this gathering is an invitation to imagine and practice something new courageously, and that, like any passage, it will call us to carry forward what is most valuable while welcoming the new. This year's gathering also marks a milestone for Imagining America, its 25th anniversary. IA's story would not have been possible without the labor, creativity, and commitment of leaders at each host institution, the University of Michigan, Syracuse University, and now the University of California, Davis. And for those of you who know, we're in the process, the last 5-year MOU is coming to a close as planned at UC Davis, and we're in the process of helping to discern the next host institution, which we should know this year. And it's also dependent, and I really want to stress this, not just on the host institution, but on the work that we do, on the work that you do, on the ground in your own locations, building partnerships and recognizing the kind of work that sometimes isn't recognized, that sometimes isn't valued. And I also want to stress that IA isn't doing this work alone, that IA is part of this larger movement for change in higher ed and society, that we're joined by partners along the journey. And some of the partners that are here today, including Project Pericles, the American Studies Association, the Bonner Foundation, and so many others. Truly, these movements for change have demonstrated the power of organizations that work in their own distinct ways while finding opportunities for collaboration and realizing in moments like a national gathering that we're all part of something bigger. Over the years, IA has taken a leadership role in the movement and has created really important texts, really important toolkits that were read, but more importantly, they were used. They were used on the ground by campus committees, study groups, regional gatherings, national convenings. Each contribution adds layer to this ongoing conversation and creates new possibilities to speak to the moment while envisioning something better. This is part of that process that Tim Eatman and Scott Peters have called the work of imagining. As the story of IA shows, movements for change are strengthened over time, and IA has had a particular role in growing great leaders. And there's so many great leaders in the audience through the PAGE program, the JGS program, and the various collaboratories. And we just want to celebrate the multi-generations of work that's here. The broader movement continues, and it's enriched by the multiple voices and perspectives from multiple networks and multiple locations. In this challenging time, we are all teachers, learners, scholars, healers, and change agents. But may we also embrace moments, whether at a national gathering like this one, or in our local settings, where we can tap into joy and creativity, where we can find the strength to sustain our work and also demonstrate care for one another. So thank you again for coming and being that caring presence for one another. And thank you to Imagining America and all of you, because you are Imagining America for the 25 years of great work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was really beautiful. It is my honor to reintroduce President Valerio Ferme. We really so appreciate your leadership and your engagement and your creativity. This time I'm not going to read the longer bio, but I will share with you those who could not be here at the opening plenary. President Valerio Ferme serves as the 32nd president of New Mexico State University System. As president, he leads the state's comprehensive research land-grant university, excelling in teaching, research, and public service. There's much, much more. Do know he's a native of Italy, holding dual citizenship, and has done so much amazing creative and leadership work across the country. We shared with the president a prompt and invited him to respond creatively, which I think he might. So I'm going to read the prompt, and then it's all yours. So we asked, given the serious challenges facing higher education today, how do you understand the greatest threats and opportunities? What strategies are you engaging to provide safe passage for your community members to protect education for the public good? Where do you find guidance or even hope from your campus, geographic, ecological, and socio-cultural context? Easy.
Actually, I want this. I've got it. This. Let's see. It's working. So I wrote some thoughts. It's kind of I don't want to call it a poetic reflection or a prose poem, but it is kind of what I was thinking about. So bear with me, and if you don't like it, that's okay too. So the zip line that are the Oregon Mountains, the landscape that encompasses my work. Leading a university in this place, the harshness of our time emerges as opposition for those whose passages are most challenged, reminds me that in the desert, the wind provides passage. In the desert, the wind carries the howl of the coyote.
In the desert, water gives life, and its absence takes it away. In the desert, shapes and transforms the landscape. The seeds of the Bilola radiata, the desert marigold, are a metaphor for guidance today. When the desert marigold reaches maturity, seeds are blown across the desert. Then they find their place of crevices by the side of roads and pathways, the protection of other plants, and they wait. And when it comes, often torrential, the cycle. We have a seed now carrying the regenerative hope that education holds within it. We, and I include myself, being hidden thither by the house of the coyote of public opinion, who tells us that our purpose is past, that our search for a foothold in the desert's unforgiving soil is a worthless pursuit, that meaning is only found in harshness and put-downs. Like the marigold's hardy seed, we must endure. And like the hardy seeds, we must feed our intellectual genes with the educational waters of our ancestors, of our colleagues, and of our cultures. These cannot be contained by rules and regulations that wish to direct our efforts in unidirectional channels constructed to contain where we grow and how we reproduce. The desert teaches us that it wishes, sculpting new pathways, designing new landscapes that contributes to the enchantment of this land, a land where cultures meet, cross-pollinate, evolve, fight, and slowly learn to respect each other. So what is my role as president? Am I seed? Am I root? Water? At the same time. Seed because I continue my cultural, genetic, and identity formation, the intersection and bloom of a new understanding. Root because I oppose my breath and sound to the house of the coyote and contribute to dispersing the seeds of our people's knowledge to multiple and diffracted environments. Water, because I cover the marigold seed of our faculty, staff, and students with opportunities to bloom when the time is right, like Imagining America. My mother, aesthetic philosophy, once told me that my poetry was harsh, dry, desertic. I responded that so, but it carried the seed of the Bilola multiradiata, seeking a place for it to blossom and promote its hardy and gritty attachment to life that, by the way, she taught me. That too is a strategy. It takes courage to travel through the looking for to gain a foothold. Even as those who support and protect may be more decisive and push for your demise. To those ones, actions are whispers in the wind and whispers in the land. Show the ancestral knowledge and give them some as needed. My first book, Tradura Tradire, was about the power of translation to subvert aesthetics and cultural practices of fascism in Italy. Even as aesthetics has always carried the tragic dilemma of compliance and position. For me, the passage is always completely safe. This is always completely neutral. We must adapt and be seeds like places where the water soil is the stillness of meditation feeds us energy. And we must come together, separated by the distances, just as lush swaths of marigold can suddenly appear in the eager dryness of the desert. Ultimately, and I am about to conclude, so like we can provide safe passage for a community if the community does not diversify its strategies. Nature has taught us that no strategy for survival serves our purposes. It takes seed to regenerate the desert. Which does not matter. It matters realizing that the common goal is to reproduce and invigorate by moving across the desert, changing the tactics of our educational art and practices, varying our makeup, being in the unexpected. So as we close this gathering, I hope that on the way to some destinations, you gaze out into the desert and see bushes and sand, seek out and imagine the desert marigold. And ask yourselves, have I fed my own marigold of educational hope this weekend? And how will I feed that of others in the weeks, months, and years to come with courage and determination? I'm not going to continue to be as long as we continue to carry its gritty seed. Thank you.
I know that many of us are probably thinking, all university presidents. Sincere thank you. Thank you so much. It is my honor to introduce my friend and dear colleague Milman Harrison, recently retired from University of California, Davis, and co-chair of our National Advisory Board, to share some awards.
Okay, thank you, Erica, but there's one tiny correction. I'm the vice chair, not the co-chair. It makes a difference. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Greetings, everyone. I'm coming to you again as the chair of IA's National Advisory Board's Awards Committee. 2 years ago at the gathering in Providence, Rhode Island, we announced that we would be launching a new initiative in the form of the Julie Ellison Vision Award. Today, I am thrilled to share with you all that we have been doing that work, and we'll be able to announce the inaugural recipient of this honor. But first, I want to say a little bit about, because you can't make assumptions, everyone may not know who Julie Ellison is, so I want to spend a minute to just kind of give you a bit of background. Professor Julie Ellison is a professor emerita at University of Michigan, and she held joint appointments in the departments of American Culture and English Language and Literature. In 1999, Julie became the founding faculty director of Imagining America, setting the foundation for the 25 plus years of work that we are the recipients of today, focusing the combined energies of higher education and the public arts and humanities on building the commons. So let me say a little bit about the award. The Julie Ellison Award recognizes the leading edge visions for justice, equity, yeah, we said it, equity, report me, and transformation in higher education by current and former fellows in IA's publicly active graduate education, or PAGE program. Under Julie's leadership, PAGE Fellows program launched in 2003 and expanded through the organized efforts of community-engaged graduate student fellows in the arts and humanities from IA member institutions. This is only the second award established by Imagining America, joining the Randy Martin Spirit Award that we presented a few nights ago. And we are proud to recognize Julie, who is a treasured mentor, friend, and inspiration for so many in the IA community. So a little bit more about the specific award. That's something about Julie, but I want you to know that nominees have been people who are a former PAGE fellow and who demonstrates an ongoing commitment to publicly engaged graduate education in their current institution or organization in a manner that reflects the values and vision that Julie exemplified and does exemplify. The awardee will receive a $1,000 stipend, significant certificate of recognition, and then also be featured on the IA website, in addition to this acknowledgement today here at the National Gathering. And they will also receive an invitation to share how PAGE has shaped their creative or professional trajectories within the broader IA network. So they will have an opportunity to present. So without further ado, I want to actually say, now I'm shaking. Because it's been a secret. It's been a secret. So now I get to say it. It gives me great pleasure to announce the recipient of the inaugural Julie Ellison Vision Award, work that started 2 years ago. And that winner is Dr. Alexis Pauline Gums. And she was not here to able to be with us today, but she asked if anybody takes any photos. So please get pictures of this. And let me wave. Yeah. But she wanted to make sure that if there's any photos or videos that we shared them with her. But when I sent the email to say congratulations and all, she wrote me back and said that I could use her words. And so I'll just give a little bit of it. Wow. I am so surprised and honored by this beautiful acknowledgement. It means so much to know that the work I have been doing beyond the university also reaches back and nourishes new possibilities for community engaged scholarship within the walls. And most importantly, affirms the expansive hearts of those people doing community accountable intellectual work wherever we are. So I also want to acknowledge the fact that it was the current co-leadership of PAGE that we went to with recommendations, but they are the ones who we went back to make the final decision. So it was current PAGE leadership that was involved with choosing this inaugural recipient of this important award, and they will be part of that decision process from here on out. So please join me in giving a hearty round of applause, even though she's not here, somebody videotape it. A heart for Dr. Alexis Pauline Gums, and perhaps next year they'll be able to be with us in the next gathering. I certainly hope so. So let's give them a great round of applause. Absolutely. So again, thank you to Paige. Thank you to the National Advisory Board and the Awards Committee. And I just thank you all for being here with us this afternoon. Ashe.
Going ahead of you. Morning, overtime. Thank you. Julie Ellison wanted to be here, but she was not able. And so I'm concocting an idea that we get Alexis Pauline Gums and Julie to celebrate next year together in person. So we'll do it up big next year and announce the second awardee all in one. So thank you, Milman. That was really beautiful. The University of California, Davis Provost, Mary Krogan, was also going to join and respond to the same prompt we provided President Ferme, but she had a fall and was not able to join us. She's doing fine, but she was also going to announce that the next Imagining America National Gathering will be in October 2026 at UC Davis. So we're really excited to have you. We've already got commitment from our Manetti Shrem Museum, from the Mondavi Center for Performing Arts, from the University Library, from Tana, a community-based silkscreen print shop, and our Arboretum, and many more partners are already eager to start organizing with us. So the Imagine America team is already planning for 2026, and it will be a big one for us. I don't want to get emotional, but it is the last one that will be organized by our team. So as Paul shared, we will be moving to a new host campus that will be there at the gathering with us in Davis. So next fall will be our transition moment. And so we're going to make it big, bigger than a 25th. So make sure to come on out. So I'd like to thank and bring to the stage one more, not minor, leader of Imagining America. For me to personally thank Stephanie Maroney. So come on up, Stephanie. As many of you know, Stephanie's the managing director of Imagining America, but she's also just such a fun and delightful colleague who's been, organizing with Cincinnati for many, many months and did some gorgeous on-the-ground work with community-based organizers and culture keepers in Cincinnati, with the faculty in Cincinnati, and was actually so sad in their discernment process on what we were going to do transition. She didn't want to let down so many folks who are doing really great work there. And so, there were a couple moments in spring that we really had to do some hard thinking. And then you just hit the ground running with Aaron, with the news, with our team to get here to New Mexico. I want us all to thank Stephanie. And Stephanie's going to help welcome you to the stage. So we're going to use the rest of our time, but Stephanie will say our goodbyes and our logistics at the very, very end. But in the remainder of the time, we want to invite anyone who feels like it. There's no pressure, but to join us on the stage. And, as we said at the start, leadership in Imagining America, most importantly, is you, the work you're doing in the world, in your communities, on your campuses. And so we have a prompt. And if you want to come up and grab the mic and stay on stage, so the last hurrah is from all of us, you can share one word. You can share a poem. You can sing some verses of a song, or you can share, verbal reflection. So it doesn't matter as long as it stays under 1 minute. But we will, and also process-wise, we will just end when we're supposed to end, because we know that folks have flights to catch and stuff. So if you don't get a chance and you're in line, share it with a partner or a friend next to you. So feel free to come up to the stage. It's just the folks that stage and doors open. Just come up here a second. If you don't just share one thing as well as our graduate page summit. Tega, who's been with us, invited Professor Apache to join us in grounding welcome. And something that we shared in that, it's just to have a purpose, that we have a purpose for being here and close to us and to remember it. Just reflect on the fact that, think about providing passage from we are what we have to each other. You have to hold that true. And I've seen so many people reflect on that sentiment these last 3 days. So you belong to me. Look forward to that in the future. You want to go on up? Okay.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I can remember. Hello, everyone. Creative writing at the New School, New York. And I'm very, very happy to be here. Before I share, I just want to thank all of you guys for this wonderful, wonderful conference. I'm so grateful to be in the presence of so many lovely people. I think the biggest thing that I'm taking home is just wonderful friends and so many experiences. But the other thing that we're taking home is a collective poem that we wrote at the beginning of our session, which was a contribution of everybody who is a part of our session, some of whom are here. So on the behalf of everyone, I would like to read to you beginning. I'm following my friend, making a community of leaders, watching the sky turning from black to blue, waiting for the sun to rise, chasing light with hope, bright eyes. We create intentional play, all living together in curiosity. Your voice is your biggest asset, don't squander it. Like the lotus, bloom without fear through the darkness. Data points us to the past. Stories direct us to the future. We travel in circles over again, but the circles change and we can change them. With grace, with beauty, with kindness. The collective future
shows us each other's depth, each other's wisdom, and the feeling of renewal washes over me as we begin again. So build. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely trip home. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hello, everyone. My name is Romy Hübler, and I am from Towson University. I'm the director of our Office of Civic Engagement and Social Responsibility. I'm also a member of the National Advisory Board. So this has been wonderful, and thank you to everyone who presented and participated, folks who hosted us yesterday for the site visit. And what I'm taking away is the idea of the clearing. We've been gathering on campus, and it was hard to find a word of what that community that we were bringing together really is, and to describe it to people and bring it in, bring folks in. And so we just used community of practice, which I think is powerful too, but the clearing, that's what it is, right? We're summoning folks who really need that space, who need to step out and come together from across campus. So thank you for everyone who organized the clearing, and we'll take those ideas back to the campus, and I'm really excited to invite more folks in that way.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Yes, hi, everyone. Just want to say thank you to everyone. I feel like just getting to watch people this entire week has been really meaningful, and how well everyone listens to each other. But what I'm taking with comes from so many images this week of turtles, and of seeing some of the hand-woven turtles yesterday with the mother turtle and their baby there, and then thinking of the book of John Green, Turtles All the Way Down, and then Turtle Island and Mother Earth as turtle. And so I'm thinking of that image of, yes, that is ours. Temporarily, this is ours. Of how much we carry each other and how many layers of each other in the world we won't even see necessarily, but that strength that comes together. When I feel alone, or I feel like there's one more layer to go through, there's always another person there for us. So thanks for being part of our turtle family. You have something to say? Okay.
Any finals? We have 2 more folks that wanted to come up and share. Here you go. Give us your powerful minute.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Gubner. I'd like you all to sing something with me, if you're brave. It's a song, it's in Spanish. You're not a Spanish speaker, it's okay. But the words, I'm going to say them, and if you can call them back to me, we'll learn it really quickly. Al tambor. A little high. Al tambor. Al tambor. Al tambor de la alegría. Quiero que tú vayas. Al tambor. Al tambor, al tambor, yo quiero que tú me lleves al tambor de la alegría, al tambor, tambor de la alegría, que tú me lleves al tambor de la alegría. So it's saying to the drum, to the drum, to the drum of joy, I hope you will lift me and bring me to the drum of joy. And the thing that I'm taking from being with you all is that I feel lifted together towards that drum. So thank you all.
Diane? And then from JGS fellow, Diane.
Hey! Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm too tall for anything. My name is Rayan Mohammed. I'm at Syracuse University my last year. and I was a JGS fellow. And one thing I'm taking home is hope. I just did a session where I showed a documentary film I worked as a fellow and a lot of my other films I worked on. And in the chaos of everything that's going on in the world right now, the one thing that I'm keeping to myself is having hope and having faith in our people. And I'm so grateful to be in the space with so many educators and so many people who are doing amazing work in this world. And the little things that I give back to my community is how we can use storytelling and film as a segue to heal and to connect with each other. So I want to thank you two all so much. Thank you.
All right, and our final word, please come on stage.
I just want to thank everyone and just be a witness to how academic institutions can use the power of art. I'm a community engaged artist from Kentucky, and I have never been in a space where I have seen art used as a tool, and it is a portal, and that I'm taking that with me, that art can be a portal to our imaginations or to possibility. And I just want to appreciate you all for seeing that in the power in creativity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much to the University of Miami Office of Civic and Community Engagement for helping to sponsor this closing plenary. We're so grateful. Thank you to these beautiful people who are the steering committee from NMSU, from University in Ciudad Juarez, from UTEP, from the region. We are so, so grateful to NMSU. Thank you, Valerio. And thank you. That's a wrap. 2024. Safe travels home, providing passage to all the people you love. Thank you so much.